Greetings, Padawans of the Jedi and slaves of the Sith, and welcome back to the embrace of the archives that our channel provides. I have been expecting you. If you're a lore expert on the Old Republic era of Star Wars and have studied the in-depth holocrons and unveiled the ancient manuscripts long lost to time, in other words, if you have played the Old Republic game, one of the greatest Star Wars games to ever be released, it is almost impossible, actually it is impossible, to go through that game without hearing of the legendary renowned Sith Lord and Immortal Emperor Vitiate, his birth name being Tenebrae, known to the old Sith Empire in ancient scrolls and holocrons as Darth Vitiate, his reconstituted Sith Empire as the Sith Emperor, and his eternal empire as Valkorion, the Immortal Emperor of Zakul, was an ancient dark side entity of enormous power who manipulated and controlled galactic affairs for 1,500 years. Unquestionably, the oldest living corporeal form Sith Lord of all time. But, as I stated previously, Tenebrae had three variations. His original form, which was Tenebrae, a Sith pureblood, with crimson skin and red tendrils protruding from his chin, nightmare black eyes that was like the void of space, and sleek back hair that would grow in his adulthood. After this, we have Darth Vitiate, the most well-known face of the Emperor, with eyes that still retain their black as the void of space texture, a hood slung over his head, a padding of armor placed upon his shoulders, and robes christened upon his dress in his honor. The Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Vitiate, and Immortal Emperor also adopted the Valkorion form, with the cool armor glistening with icy blue emittance, with a grey and later white polished beard that was cut to perfection. His eyes had returned to a normal orange and bloody fire tone. This would make sure that he was properly aligned with the dark side. However, throughout all these variations that Vitiate conjured from dark side alchemy, spells, and sorcery, which one of these variations was the most formidable? Which one could you never defeat in a fight? And which one could even match up to the strength of the Legends Continuity Grandmaster Luke Skywalker himself? Well, my friends, join us today on our flagship The Brain Busters as we delve into the in-depth and complex lore, uncover ancient holocrons, unveil long-lost manuscripts shrouded in mystery on the most powerful variation of Darth Vitiate. Before we begin, I would like to note that if you wish to ascend to the rank of Master, unlike Anakin Skywalker, we will not make the same mistake the council members did. All you must do is hit the subscribe button and strike down the like button. It is your destiny. Now, my friends, with that small dilemma out of the way, let's begin. Born in 5113 BBY as the illegitimate son of Lord Drumoth in the old Sith Empire, Tenebrae carved a path of destruction across the planet Medrias, which he would formerly and later name Nethema, torturing and massacring thousands by the age of 10 when Drumoth confronted him, his own birth father. Tenebrae severed his father's power and midichlorian count to the Force, and imprisoned his spirit for millennia of torment. Eventually, the current Dark Lord of the Sith, Marka Ragnos, one of the most powerful Sith of all time, recognized and acknowledged Tenebrae's immense dark side power, with a midichlorian count that was exceeding 25,000, even exceeding the potential of Anakin Skywalker's twin children, Leia and Luke Skywalker. Tenebrae was unquestionably one of the most powerful entities to ever grace the Star Wars universe, an abomination purely forged by the corrupting influence and power of the dark side, a destructor and destroyer of worlds. Vitiate was able to consume all life using a complex ritual known as the Ritual of Nethema, consuming all life on his home planet of Nethema, including the essences and life force, as well as the force powers of 8,000 well-trained fellow Sith Lords, binding their will to his in order to sustain his life for the many millennia to come. Vitiate held onto his throne in the Sith Empire for over 1,000 years, as Lord Scourge would comment in the Revan novel, a highly incredible good novel written by an incredibly talented author. This Revan novel painted Vitiate as the ultimate dark-side entity, as he only had trouble and suffered a minor injury when Revan funneled both sides of the Force in through his hands and into his body, unleashing the light and dark at the Master of the Sith and Immortal Emperor of Zakuul. During his reign as the Sith Emperor Vitiate, he was eventually defeated by the Hero of Typhon, remarked by many, including many Jedi and Sith, to be the most well-rounded and powerful Jedi of his age. Vitiate was cut down in a lightsaber duel, however his spirit endured, while his corporeal form was dead. The ritual that was performed on the Thema would last him and endure his spirit for many hundreds of years to come. In short, I put this variation of Vitiate during his Sith Emperor attire as Darth Vitiate, despite his proficiency in gathering a storm and influence of dark-side energy, influencing thousands, possibly even tens of thousands, of Sith Lords such as Darth Malgus, Darth Vindican, Lord Scourge, and Darth Nihilus into submission, and even beforehand trapping 8,000 Sith Lords to his will, despite being in his youth at 110 years old, which was an incredible feat that not many Sith can attempt to. I have to rank this last in his 3 variations, as he lost to the Hero of Typhon. He would later surpass the Hero of Typhon in power tremendously, but considered he lost in his Vitiate corporeal form. I would consider this version of Vitiate as powerful and indomitable as the Emperor of the Sith is, the weakest variation of this Dark Lord. The next variation of Darth Vitiate, also known as Tenebrae, I would like to discuss today in this video, is his Valkorion, appearing in the Knights of the Eternal Throne and Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion edition of the Old Republic game. Valkorion's power tremendously increased after his fall at the Hero of Typhon, having formerly gathered his power on Zakuul by transforming it using ancient technology into a marvel of the galaxy. The Eternal Empire, which Valkorion commanded for a year, carved a path of destruction beneath and between the Sith Empire and the Jedi Order's destructive war, a conflict that would become to know as the Great Galactic War. The Eternal Empire, led by Valkorion, possessed the Eternal Fleet and a numerous amount of Force adepts such as Arcann, Thexan, Valen, and most notably and most powerfully, Emperor Valkorion, the Immortal Emperor of Zakuul, is just shy of the number 1 position today, as Valkorion, while he was the Lord, was able to curb and control both his son Arcann and Thexan's power, 2 beings with the highest Force sensitivity in Star Wars history, with a midichlorian count that was possibly around the count of 23,000, exceeding that of Sidious, and some have speculated to be even higher than this, on par with that of Starkillers at around 23,000. However, some believe this is an underestimation. Tenebrae, also known as Valkorion, in this form, had the ability to reduce and project massive storms and waves of dark-side energy that were sent hurling at his opponents. He was able to effortlessly dominate the wills of multiple beings at once, including the Outlander, toying with Arcann, Valen, and the Outlander's Might, 3 of the most powerful Star Wars beings to ever live. He was able to send catastrophically powerful waves of Force lightning to attack and instantly kill Darth Maul, a Dark Council member who was widely considered to be the most powerful of all time, having retained his position from his early 20s into his late 60s, holding on to it for 40 years, more than any other reigning Dark Council member, and Valkorion was able to kill him instantly. In this form, he was able to create immensely powerful and nigh impenetrable Force shields, as shown when Arcann freed the Outlander and attempted to kill his father. He was able to block the lightsaber blows that Arcann induced upon him, saying that he had first killed his brother Thexan in a fit of rage, and now he was turning on his father. Valkorion, in this body, was eventually killed by the Outlander who stabbed him in the back after incapacitating Arcan with another tremendous storm of Force lightning. Due to his feat, I will put Valkorion ranked number 2, heavily above the Emperor Vitiate form, but nowhere near the power that is incomprehensible compared to the number 1 spot. Now, if you are adept in reading Star Wars lore, uncovering old manuscripts, and unveiling the mysteries shrouding Sith holocrons, you will be aware that this ability and this form of Vitiate, Tenebrae, comes in at the number 1 position. Tenebrae, which was his most notable form during the Echoes of Oblivion expansion edition. Tenebrae was widely considered to be the most powerful Force user of all time during this time. However, we here at the channel believe that Nihilus barely surpassed this version of Echoes of Oblivion Vitiate. Echoes of Oblivion Vitiate has a tremendous amount of feats under his belt. Tenebrae, using his body, was able to reanimate and reincarnate both the Valkorion and Vitiate forms, unleashing a wave of red force power that was able to incapacitate and blow down the Outlander and all the beings that Tenebrae had wronged. However, it should be noted he was defeated by these beings upon them using their combined power to defeat his own oppressive might. This version was able to flatten a team of Valen, Arcan, Vexen, Senya, Revan in his prime, Kira Carson, Lord Scourge, Darth Maul, the Outlander, the Seons, Satele Shan, and her students, as well as many more. Vitiate, it was also able to drain the populations of Zeus and Nethema. It was widely considered by many Star Wars fans that this version of Vitiate was the most formidable and powerful, being able to send crackling bolts of red force lightning. The most powerful Force lightning due to its association with Darth Vader at his peak of power during the Darth Vader comics, and the use of the Son of Mortis, the literal embodiment of the dark side and a perversion of the Force itself, similar to Darth Nihilus, a literal wound in the Force itself. Vitiate, in Echoes of Oblivion, was able to utterly dominate the mind of Satele Shan, the current reigning Jedi Grandmaster, and the granddaughter of Revan, one of the most powerful Jedi to ever exist. This was an incredible feat, as Vitiate and Satele Shan was widely considered to be 2 of the most powerful Force users at the time, with Satele Shan being the most powerful Jedi at this time, spare possibly the Outlander, who through the teachings of Darth Maul and herself was able to grow beyond the Force. Vitiate, in his Echoes of Oblivion formation as Tenebrae, his Sith pure-blood body, was unquestionably the most powerful variation of this dark side abomination and entity. Well, my friends, I hope you are enjoying the daily opening of Sith holocrons and uncovering the ancient lore that we strive here on the channel to excavate from the ancient tombs of the Masters. I hope you're enjoying this Vitiate content, as I am going to make a video entitled The Life of Darth Vitiate, or Tenebrae, and Valkorion, covering his entire life story. That will be coming in the near future, as Vitiate is one of my top 3 favourite Dark Lords of the Old Republic era, and one of my favourite characters in all of Star Wars, period. With that out of the way, acolytes, ensure you have ascended to the rank of Master by striking down the subscribe button. We won't make the mistake that Palpatine made and not educate you in the ways of the Force. With that out of the way, acolytes, I'll see you in a galaxy far, far away, and may the Force be with you.